Most people want good personal credit but don't know how to do it. So in this video, I'm going to give you my step-by-step blueprint on how to build a 700 credit score. Let's begin. So before we take time to unpack the steps that you need to take to build good personal credit, it's important that we talk about a lot of the mistakes that people, like some of you guys who are watching right now, may be making right now with your credit. Starting off, number one, that a lot of you at this current moment in time are chasing short-term hacks that are going to create long-term problems. What I've come to notice that for most people who are trying to, whether it's build personal credit or fix their personal credit, is that a lot of times you guys are looking for loopholes and workarounds or shortcuts. And in turn, what ends up happening is you find yourself dabbling in things like police reports to clean your credit, or identity theft reports, right? Or you're applying for accounts that you had no business applying with in the first place that don't actually, and the short term may give your credit a bit of a boost, but in the long term don't look good to quality lenders that you really want to put yourself in position to work with and get access to capital from. The second mistake that I see a lot of individuals make is that a lot of you guys treat your credit like a score instead of a profile. So yes, at the top of the video, I talked about getting to a 700 score, which is great, but I want to contextualize that by letting you guys know you can have a 700 credit score and get denied, a 750 credit score and get denied for things that someone with a 680 would get approved for. To give you an example, when I first started building my credit, I started out and I was an authorized user on a close friend of mine's credit card. It was a Capital One Venture X card. And at the time, my first credit score ever, before I even lifted a finger and had my own actual personal credit card, was I think like a 770, right? On the front facing side of things, that seems great. But if I took that credit report plus the score to any car dealership in the country and said like, hey, I want to get a Lamborghini Hellcat SRT, they would laugh me out the dealership right then and there because I had the score, but I don't have the profile to back it. And it's extremely important that you guys understand that while there's nothing wrong with you wanting a 700 plus score, whether it's for vanity reasons or you associate it with, a certain status within credit, all that is fine and dandy. You still need the profile with the score. You can't have the score without the profile, but if you have the profile, the score will always follow. So always remember that. And the third mistake a lot of you guys are making is that not only are you applying too much, but you're applying too randomly and way too early in the process. So a lot of y'all are in a rush. So you're submitting applications strictly off of emotion. You're getting a bunch of inquiries on your credit report and there's no strategy behind what lenders you're going to and why you're going to them. So these are some of the few mistakes that you guys are making, primarily because you have either been uneducated or miseducated in understanding what credit is, how it works, and what are the foundational steps that you need to take to put yourself in a position to get the kind of profile that you could use to leverage at some point in time to go out and get access to business credit. But that changes now. So first, let's talk about what actually makes up a credit score, because this is super duper important. There are 5 factors that make up a credit score that any and everyone who wants to have good personal credit needs to know like the back of their hand. The first one being payment history. That means whether you have student loans, a car note, a mortgage, a couple of secured credit cards, or just regular credit cards on your credit report, whether it's 1 account or 100 accounts, if it's on your credit, it has to be getting paid on time, because if it's not getting paid on time, it could be the difference between your score dropping up to 100 points versus being up over the 700 credit score, 720, 740 credit score mark, which is super duper important. Next, we have utilization, right? So what is utilization? Utilization has to do with your revolving lines of credit. So let's say you have a credit card and the limit on that card is 1,000. The rule of thumb is that you should never have more than an $100 limit, meaning 10% of the overall limit on that card, because anything higher than that, then it may hurt your chances of being able to go out and get access to capital. So keeping your utilization below 10% of whatever the limit on your credit cards are. Then you have length of credit history, which pretty much represents how the average age of all the accounts on your report, which you always want to have at least 2+ years. You have inquiries, which across all 3 credit reporting agencies, you never want to have more than 2 to 3, 3 to 4 of them. And then you have credit mix, right? Which is pretty much what kind of variety do you have on your credit report? Is it just credit cards? Is it credit cards and installment loans? Is it credit cards, installment loans, a secured loan, a car note, a mortgage? The more diverse your report is, the more attractive you look, just because it shows that you're able to handle credit in all different forms and fashion, because revolving lines of credit and secured lines of credit are 2 completely different credit lines. But if you're showing that you have both and you're able to maintain them and so much more, now you're in good standing. So let's first take some time to talk about what credit repair is. And credit repair in its essence is a 3-phase process. The first one being identity and consistency. So you want to make sure that your credit report and the information on there is one clean, consistent story that's being told from top to bottom, and it starts in that information tab. You should never have 5 names, 4 addresses, and 3 employers showing on your credit report. It should always be 1 name, 1 address, and 1 employer always, so that you're strictly reflecting that you are 1 person and 1 person alone. From there, the second phase is account level accuracy. So not only do you want to make sure that your personal credit is clean, so that's showing as only 1 person, you also want to make sure that you have accuracy across all accounts. Well, what do I mean by that? Most people don't know that there's a set of laws called the Fair Credit Reporting Act that outlines and states that anything on your credit report must be accurate, and verifiable. But in the same vein, for most people, more than 80% of the information on their credit report isn't accurate or verifiable. It's important for us to know this because when we're reviewing our report, we're not just looking to make sure we have one name, one address, and one employer. We also want to make sure that, hey, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion are all telling the same story. And if they aren't, then we have to go ahead and get that cleaned up. And then the third phase is compliance-based correction. So because you know that under compliance, that the same way that you have rules as a consumer, the credit reporting agencies have rules as well, and they're breaking it because there are inaccurate accounts on your report. Now you can leverage this system against them to start enforcing your way to sending letters their way and getting your credit report cleaned and structured the way that it needs to be. So with all that being said, if I needed to build my way to a 700 credit score, here are the 3 areas that I would focus on now that I have an understanding of credit score, now that I have an understanding of credit repair, now I have an understanding of some of the mistakes that I am making or have been making. The first thing that I would do is I would build a lendable personal credit profile, but I would do so progressively. So what I want you guys to understand is that credit should be built as a ladder. Okay, not as a lottery. And I'll give you an example. A simple framework that I give to most of my mentees that I teach, I call it the 336 method. So the 336 method is you want to apply for 3 types of accounts, 3 different cards within those accounts every 6 months. And I'm gonna break it down for you guys. The 3 types of accounts that you want to apply for are credit builders, starter credit cards, and premium credit cards. So those are your 3. Within those 3, you want to go ahead and apply for 3 credit builders, wait 6 months, 3 starter cards, wait 6 months, then 3 premium cards and wait 6 months. That's how you progressively build. And what happens is, so I'll give you an example of a credit builder. A credit builder, for example, could be like a self-lender, right? It's a account where you deposit money into a CD, but it shows on your credit report as an installment loan, and you let that sit either for a year to 2 years. Okay, that's credit builder. You let that sit for 6 months, then you apply for your starter card. A starter card could be like a Discover It cashback card, right? Wait the 6 months for self-lender, then you apply for the Discover It card. Boom, you get approved. 6 months later, you now have a year-old account from Self and a 6-month-old credit card from Discover. You can not only apply to increase the limit on that Discover card, but you can now apply for a premium credit card because you have enough age to, let's say, go out and get a personal credit card from, let's say, a Citibank or Wells Fargo or a Chase. And when you do it that way, what happens is, yes, it takes a little bit longer than you would like, but in turn, more than anything, what it does for you is it gives you a credit profile that you know is in premium position to be leveraged later on, which is super duper important. The second area of focus, I would tell you, and this is also important when it comes to getting to that 700 mark, is protecting your inquiry account aggressively. So a lot of times what happens is I have people who will come on these videos and you guys want to go out and apply and you're so gung-ho and so excited, so happy that you don't do your due diligence to figure out where these lenders pull from. I've had people that have come to me with 20, 30, 40 inquiries at a time on one credit report with one credit reporting agency. Not necessary. If you are strategic and you are intentional about figuring out where these lenders pull from, then it could be the difference between you getting 10 plus inquiries on a credit report or 3, and 4. Right, on your 3 credit reports where it's more evenly balanced and you still are in premium position to be able to work with other lenders going forward. You want to be able to find out where these lenders pull from and then from there create what we call funding sequences around that before you start applying so that you're in premium position to go ahead and not just get approved, but also preserve your credit report. And the third area of focus would be once you've completed number 1 and number 2 will be to shift from quantity to quality. So early on, we prioritize quantity from the standpoint of saying, okay, we want to get decent enough accounts and enough of them on our report to make our report super duper strong. But there has to be a tipping point where no longer is the approach to try and get as many different accounts. Eventually the approach becomes, okay, how can I now leverage the heavy lifting I've done over the course of 6 months to a year, year and a half to now go and apply for more premium accounts? Because lenders are paying attention to the difference between a credit report that has 5 Victoria's Secret credit cards on it versus the account that has 2 credit cards with Chase, 1 with the American Express and another one with like a Bank of America. 2 completely different reports in the eyes of the banks from a quality standpoint. So you don't use these foundational pieces that I'm teaching you to from now to the end of time. You use them to set a foundation for where you really want to be later on. But that's all for this video. And as we close, if you want help building your personal credit profile, structuring your business correctly, and creating a funding strategy that actually gets you approved for high limits, in the description below, I will be leaving a link to my mentorship program, Takeoff University, so you can learn more about how I can work with you. That's Takeoff University, and the link for that is going to be in the description below. But until next time, family, peace.